This is everything I read and watched in the month of December. I read 8 books and watched 11 movies, and then I also watched quite a bit of TV. So let's get into it. The first book I read was Someday Everyone Will Have Always Been Against This by Omar Akkad. I gave this book 5 stars. I went and purchased it after I read it. This is maybe my top read of the year. I haven't quite decided what my top 5 are yet, but recommend that everyone read it. I feel like it's so important. It's very interesting to read for the first time right now as we witness everyone, especially government, change their minds and say that this was always a genocide and that this was always wrong when in fact they were not saying that for a very long time. I think this is a very important book. I think it's important not just for current history, but past history, future events that will happen. I think this is an incredible book, and I definitely want to read more books written by journalists because of it, because I think the narrative style of it really resonated with me. I also read Firekeeper's Daughter by Angeline Boulley, and I give it 4 stars. I thought it was a really great book. Didn't resonate with a lot of it just because I do struggle to read YA sometimes, and this felt very YA. I think if Angeline Boulley had been able to write this as an adult fiction novel, I would have loved it so much more. It's like a crime thriller, and I think she did a really excellent job. I also read Heated Rivalry by Reid. I just went straight to the second book in the series because I wanted to watch the show, and I don't read a lot of contemporary romance, so I gave this one 4 stars. I thought it was so good. I'm gonna read the rest of the series this year. I'll talk about it in the second half, but I love the adaptation of it as well. I read What Moves the Dead by Kingfisher, and this was a 3.5 star for me. Because I'm such an Edgar Allan Poe fan, I think this fell a little flat for me. And I just think that it might have to do with my preference for T. Kingfisher's writing be fully original works. I don't think I like her retellings, but I think I will read the rest of the series. I read As Many Souls as Stars by Natasha Seigel, and I gave this one 4 stars. I loved it. This is not usually a type of book that I would read. I'm not huge into fantasy. I feel like the queer yearning was there, and that's all I need. And I really love a book that's like, I'll love you in every lifetime. It's a great audiobook if you're looking for a good audiobook. I really highly recommend this one. I feel like I haven't seen a lot of people talk about it. I really liked it. It came out this year. I read Bad Cree by Jessica Johns. I have had this on my physical TBR for so long, and I decided to read this for Native American Heritage Month in November. I finished it this month, and then I realized that Jessica Johns is a Canadian author, so it doesn't really apply to Native American Heritage Month, but that's okay. I liked it. I gave it 3.5 stars. For me, this felt a little flat because I feel like the story relied solely on her dreams in a way that was annoying to me. That's, I think, just like a personal preference thing. This book also to me was so referential without giving credit to Nightmare on Elm Street and Lake Mungo. I'm such a horror movie and book fan that I don't love when I can tell exactly what the inspiration was. I think it's a great debut novel. I will read whatever she writes next. I read The Hunting Party by Lucy Foley. This is my second Lucy Foley. I also read The Midnight Feast when it came out, and I did not like that book at all. I thought it was extremely predictable, kind of corny. This one is written much better. I thought this was a really fun read. It's a good one to read in the winter if you're snowed in. It's a great thriller. I read this in one sitting. I had a really good time. I wasn't sure what was going to happen at the end, but I do feel like it wasn't any super exciting either. And then the last book I read this month was We Used to Live Here by Marcus Kliewer, and I gave this one 3 stars. I listened to it on audiobook. It is a pretty fun audiobook because there's sections where there's government documents and there's some fun sound effects or whatever. So I enjoyed the audiobook. I think it's a good one. I liked the narrator, but I did not like this book very much. I was really disappointed. It's about 2 queer women in a relationship, and I don't think that men are incapable of writing 2 women in a relationship, but I wish they would stop trying. I think men are very capable of writing women, just as women are capable of writing men, but I don't love to see men try to write women in a relationship. And I feel like it was sort of used as a mechanism to scare you more into thinking that something homophobic was going to happen to them. And I didn't like that because I don't want anything homophobic to happen to people. However, I will say it was extremely scary. I was very scared the whole time. I was only reading this book on audiobook in the car. I cannot let this book in my house. It's super scary. So I really recommend it for like some good scares. However, the beginning is completely unbelievable. Eve is an idiot. Don't ever let anyone in your house. Never. Especially a man. Do think the ending was effective. And the last chapter I really was like, oh my gosh. But I don't like that as an ending. I don't necessarily need everyone to have a happy ending, but I did not like the ending. So this was a 3-star read for me. I believe this book started out as a Reddit story, which makes a lot of sense to me. I feel like if you know that going into it, it makes a lot more sense. I'm excited to read his next book that comes out next year called The Caretaker. And then I watched 11 movies in December, which was so many, but my wife was sick and it was Christmas, so we watched a lot of really fun nothing movies that I've seen before, a lot of repeats and just fun kids movies. So the first one I watched was Materialists. This is a Celine Song movie. It came out this year. I gave it 3 stars. I think it fell really flat. I do not like Dakota Johnson. I sometimes like Chris Evans, but I think for me, because I love Past Lives so much, this was such a disappointment. I also feel like Pedro Pascal is such a charismatic actor, and he was so boring in it that I was like, oh, Dakota Johnson's boringness rubbed off on everyone. It's not compelling. The aesthetic is really nice. Liked the cinematography a lot, and the end, the credit scene was really sweet. I watched Eyes Wide Shut from 1999. It's Stanley Kubrick's last film, and apparently he submitted his director's cut and then he died. I give this movie 2 stars. I actually hated it. I understand why people like it, why they find it compelling. Had I watched it in 1999 when it came out, I do think it was a revolutionary movie. I feel like the plot was not very compelling to me. The soundtrack was terrible, and that is the part that people love. It's literally just one little ditty on the piano for the entire movie, and I think it's supposed to be scary. It's not scary. Mostly it's just boring. I watched Ferngully from 1992. This is such a fun one. Tim Curry voices the bad guy. I gave it 3.5 stars. I think it's really fun. I watched Phenomena from 1985. This is a Dario Argento movie. I love Dario Argento. I love Italian horror, and this is one I hadn't seen yet. This is starring Jennifer Connelly. I think it's only the 2nd movie she ever did, and I also love her so much. I honestly love this movie. I think it's one of Dario Argento's better films. I gave it 4 stars. Another movie we watched when my partner was sick was The Secret of NIMH from 1982. This is an awesome Don Bluth animated film. I gave it 4 stars. It is one of my favorite Don Bluth films, and I'm so glad I got to rewatch it again. I watched Kneecap from 2024. I had been meaning to see this for so long, and I'm so glad I did. I gave it 4 stars. It's such a fun movie. And now I have started listening to Kneecap. I love hip-hop, and I love Irish hip-hop as revolution. Really cool. I would really recommend this movie. I think it was really fun. So we started watching some Christmas movies. The first one we watched was How the Grinch Stole Christmas from 2000, starring Jim Carrey. I love this movie. I know a lot of people do not. I gave it 4 stars. I think it's so fun. It's one of the best Christmas movies. I get why people don't like it. It's very weird. It's very gross. I think Jim Carrey is my favorite comedian, though. This is just like a yearly watch for me. I love it so much. We also watched Elf from 2003, starring Will Ferrell. I gave this one 5 stars. I think it is the funniest movie ever. It's very nostalgic. A lot of people don't like it. Christmas movies are controversial, but I love Elf. I think it's so fun. I love the soundtrack. I love Will Ferrell. I love Zooey Deschanel. I love this movie. It's so good. And then for some reason, just for fun, we watched Pitch Perfect from 2012. This is an extremely silly movie. I gave it 3 stars. I think it's good in that it is a perfect time capsule of 2012. All the actors in it, all the songs, everything that happens is so 2012 it hurts. I think it's so fun. It's not good though. I watched Gremlins a few days before Christmas. I got to see it in the local indie movie theater in my hometown. That was so fun. It's from 1984. If I remember correctly, it is the first PG-13 film, which is super interesting and makes a lot of sense because there's so much murder, The kills are awesome, and it's also extremely morbid. At the end, she tells him why she hates Christmas, and it's because her dad got stuck in the chimney pretending to be Santa Claus and died. That is crazy, and that did not need to be in the movie. And a lot of the movie, it's very fun, but a lot of it is clearly like the special effects guy made all these really cool puppets and just really wanted to show them off. So I gave it 3 stars. It's not the best movie, but it is iconic, and it is a Christmas movie, so watch it for Christmas. And then the last movie I watched this year, I don't think I'm gonna get to any today, but yesterday I watched Total Recall with my friends at our local cinema, and I had never seen it, but this movie is insane. I gave this movie 3 stars. Arnold Schwarzenegger is terrible and awesome, as always. Sometimes he has an accent, sometimes he doesn't. The special effects are so insane. There's constantly windows shattering. I don't know what the budget was for the windows, but it must have been equal to Sharon Stone and Arnold Schwarzenegger's salaries. And then some shows that I've been watching. I'm still watching Angel. It's gonna take us a while. We're still only on season 2. I watched Heated Rivalry. I feel like I have not been a fangirl in a very long time. And this is bringing out my inner fangirl to a degree that I feel not okay about. I'm trying so hard to be normal about Heated Rivalry, and I really can't. I am obsessed. Nothing bad happens to them. And I think Jacob Tierney just does a phenomenal job adapting the book and then also just telling a beautiful queer story. So if you haven't watched Heated Rivalry for some reason because you're living under a rock, please go do it. I also finished I Love LA. It was fine. I liked the first half a lot better than the second half. It is very funny, but I think it goes from being satirical of influencer culture in LA and people who have moved to LA to be an influencer, and then it just sort of devolves. It doesn't feel satirical at the end. So I'll probably watch season 2. I'm not sure yet. I was pretty disappointed by it, honestly, but I love Rachel Sennett, so I will watch whatever she makes. That is everything that I read and watched in the month of December. If you want to see more book or more movie content, I am malkareads on TikTok and Instagram. I'm also on Letterboxd at malkafinn, so I will see you here or on TikTok. Bye!